In this week's video, we talk about the term domiciling and residency. What does that mean? That means how do you get your mail and how do you vote when you're a full-time traveling nomad? Stay tuned. Where are we?
We are still on Peaks Island in the beautiful state of Maine, and I'm excited to talk about this term domiciling. I really don't like that word, but yeah, let's kick it off.
And you're right. And so domiciling is the here. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are a snowbird and you live in Maine and you have a vacation or you go 6 months a year down to Florida. You have to pick one of those states, Maine or Florida, to be your official place and the other place to be your vacation place. So your official place would be your domiciling location and your vacation place would be your residency location. So in this example, someone might use Maine as their domicile, which is where they would vote and get their mail and do all the legal things of their life. And Florida would be the residency part where they just go on vacation. They don't worry about voting and taxes and mail and that type of thing. Right. So if you probably haven't, if you've lived in your house your whole life, you've domiciled and residencied in your house and haven't even thought about these issues. Or if you vacation every once in a while, you don't think about these issues either. But for us, they were big issues to think about because first of all, we wanted to make sure the state of Colorado knew we had left it officially so they didn't come after us for back taxes or whatever. And we wanted to make sure the state of Texas, where we moved to, welcomed us so they knew we were there, right?
Yeah, and we just basically made the decision is that we're moving to Texas, and there's a lot of reasons that we did that. But when we did that, we were really very clear and very intentional that everything that we had, all of our addresses in every situation, our car registration, our driver's license, our voter ID, our library card,
our insurance, our memberships at different clubs, that they had national chapters.
Yeah. That we didn't leave anything behind. That there was
because all we're not coming to Texas.
We're not going back to Colorado. We are moving lock, stock, and barrel, and we are moving to Texas.
And what were some of the reasons we moved to Texas?
Well, so one is that it is one of the only states that you can move to and not actually own or rent a property. And again, I'm not giving anybody any legal advice here. I'm just saying that for us, it was a place that we could move to. We could move our domicile, our official residence, our official place of living, and not actually have to rent or own property.
Right. And I think South Dakota, you have to own a vehicle, but you don't have to own property. And in Florida, you don't have to own property, but you have to own a boat or a vehicle. So, and those three states also have in common that there's no state income tax. So when we were looking around, we looked at all those things. Since we didn't own anything, Texas was the place we ended up. So off to Texas we went. We signed up with a mail service and domiciling service called RV Escapees. We gave them some money. And then they walked us through all the steps we need to do, from car registration to driver's license, new driver's license. They helped us go through every single one of those steps, and we got established as and domiciled in Texas. Now we have Texas licenses, Texas voter registration. We get our bills in Texas. We pay taxes in Texas. We go to the library in Texas. We love Texas.
And Louisville, Texas is actually a cute town, and there's lots of beautiful lakes around. It's really a very picturesque place. And I just want to take this moment to say thank you for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and click that subscription and notification button so you can find out about our future videos.
Right. So after we got domiciled and resided in Texas with RV Escapees, they also do our mail. They are a mail service as well. So we digitized most of our bill, everything we could digitize into digitized mail. We did that. And then any paper mail that's left, we canceled all of our magazine subscriptions and anything that came in paper, and went into the junk mail desubscriptioning services and got rid of all of our junk mail. And then we had Escapees just scan our A-class mail. That's our first class mail. Everything else goes right in the dump. And if it comes at all, they scan it, and then we get notices in our email that we have scanned mail. We go look at the envelopes. If the envelopes look like there's something that we want, we actually have them open them, and they scan the contents, and we look at the contents.
Yeah.
Now,
And then if it's something that we need, we
Right.
actually need, they'll save it, they'll store it for us until a time when we say, you know what, send us our mail. They'll basically stuff a FedEx envelope with
Or
it, or
UPS or
UPS or
USPS, whatever
something.
you want.
We can get our mail, the physical mail that we need, especially, if you're thinking about getting a new credit card, you need to have that
Checks.
physical card or a check or something like that. There's some things that you physically need to get in your hand. And so from time to time, we'll ask escapees, we'll say, send us our mail.
Yeah. And it's sometimes it's a mail call. We sit there at the breakfast table and we have our little donut and our coffee.
But
And we have mail
I'm
call.
really surprised. I mean, the U.S. mail is huge, right? But that we get like maybe 2 things a week that
In the
we
mail.
get notification, if that much. Once you tell everybody to really convert to electronic versions of your statements and things like that, we really don't get a lot of mail.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason why, coming back to the reasons why it's important that you domicile and you resident in the same location with the same addresses. So if you think about your ecosystem of addresses, the places where your address is really important is your driver's license, your voter registration, and your bills, right? Can we think of anything else? Yeah. And if those are insurance, and if those are not all together in the same address, then you could run into some problems. We've got several friends that they've run into problems, like they've had frozen bank accounts, or they got locked out of their banking, or the IRS started asking them a few questions about, you have an address here, and you have an address here, and you have an address here. Where do you live? So if you have all those together, and so you don't want to get in a situation where mom is getting your mail at this address, and this is the address your sister gets your packages, and this is the address that you use because it was your house that's on your driver's license. You could run into some problems in the future when people start wondering about your domiciling and your residency. There's a lot of federal laws and regulations that, especially in relation to banking, that get into these issues. And if you have multiple addresses, that could raise some red flags for you, and you could end up in Southeast Asia with frozen bank accounts, as a friend of ours happened to a friend of ours.
Yeah.
So
And
get all this stuff together.
We don't
Yeah.
specifically
know exactly what happened, nor does our friend. But the point is, if you get all your addresses all together as one, then you're eliminating potential red and yellow flags in the future that you might have to resolve in a different time zone, a different phone number, a different location. If you take care of those all before you leave, it will make your travel probably a little bit more stress-free, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're after. Okay, so next video, we are going to get into, you decided to get rid of your house, or you decided to leave your house. What do you do next? Stay tuned.